Hey guys, it is Sophia the Shadow Hunter, and today I'm doing my April 2020 wrap up. I did not read as much as I wanted to in the month of April. I've been having a hard time keeping up on track, but I think I figured out a way to help remedy this and work this out. I'm going to take the next month, maybe 2 months, depending how well this goes, and I'm going to try to read an extra 10 books so that whenever I fall behind week after week like I have been, I won't get so behind. So let's get started. Let me know in the comments down below the books you guys read in April and the books you want to read in May. Sadly, I only read, technically I almost finished 6 books, but I only read 5 books, which is still good. That is almost on track, except with wanting to read 100 books, it is a little bit behind. So let's get started. So one of the first books I read was Lost Roses by Martha Hall Kelly. I really enjoyed this book. I've been wanting to read this book now for over a year, and I went ahead and bought the book and bought it brand new from Sam's Club because it was only $10. It says, it is 1914 and the world has been on the brink of war so often. Many New Yorkers treat the subject with only passing interest. Eliza Faraday is still to be traveling to St. Petersburg on a trip of a lifetime with her close confidant, Sofia Stresanova, a cousin of the Romanovs, to see the splendors of Russia, the church and the interior covered in jeweled mosaics, the remembrance of the Tsar's winter palace, the famous ballet. But when the Austria declares war on Serbia and Russia's imperial dynasty begins to fall, Eliza escapes back to America. While Sophia and her family flee to their country estate in need of domestic help, they hire the local fortune teller's daughter, Varenka, unknowingly bring intense danger into their household. On the other side of the Atlantic, Eliza is doing her part to help the White Russian family find safety as they escape the revolution. But when Sophia's letters suddenly stop coming, she fears the worst for her best friend. From the turbulent streets of St. Petersburg and aristocrat countrysides, estates to avenues of Paris where society of fallen Russian immigrants live, to the mansions of Long Island, Liza, Sophia, and Varenka still intersect in profound ways. I love when stories intersect, and she does that so very well. Martha Hall Kelly is one of my new favorite authors. I'm glad she's well known right now, because when I love my favorite books, they're old and they're not coming out with new books anymore, and so it makes it really hard to follow. But like my favorite authors, I wish they're writing stuff. Like I'm waiting for Patrick Rothfuss to write his next book. And the Pen of Jenna, she's still writing too, but I love her earlier books. So I give this a 5.5 stars on Goodreads. Alright, next I read Refugee by Alan Grant. I really enjoyed this book. This was a young adult book about refugees. It says refugee, and the stories intertwined. It was a great, lighthearted, yet well done story about children, teaching these things to children, and it was very enjoyable, and I gave this, I think, probably 4.5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. He wrote Prisoner B 3087, which I reread before I read this one, thinking this was the sequel, but it's not, so now I still need to go get the sequel to Prisoner B 3087. Here's what it says. Joseph is a Jewish boy living in the 1920s Nazi Germany with the threat of concentration camps looming. He and his family board a ship bound for the other side of the world. Isabel is a Cuban girl in 1994 with riots and unrest plaguing her country. She and her family set out on a raft helping to find safety in America. Muhammad is a Syrian boy in 2015 with his homeland torn apart by violence and destruction. He and his family began a long trek toward Europe. All 3 kids go on harrowing journeys in search of refuge. All will face unimaginable dangers, from drownings to bombings to betrayals. But there is always the hope of tomorrow. And although Joseph, Isabel, and Muhammad are separated by continents and decades, shocking connections will tie their stories together in the end. This book is great. You guys should read it. Okay. Next, I read The Wife That Made the Dementress by Ariel Lawhorn. I really enjoyed this book. I've had this book for several years now. I got it in a mystery box from Crate Joy. I already want to start getting some boxes from them again. Maybe I will next month once this virus dies down. It's so fun getting book packages in the mail. I'm just kind of picky because what I want to read, but my favorite is Page Habitat. So if you guys want, I've got tons of unboxing videos for those boxes when I got them for about 12 months, about 2 years ago. So this is a story about the wife that made the mistress. There's a detective story in it. I really enjoyed this when I started reading. It's like, this book sounds awesome. It's people in their dirty laundry, people in their lives, their relationships, their work, their jobs. It just all gets tangled up together. And there is a woman who she's some sort of, I guess you want to say she's a dancer, something like that. And she's a showgirl, and she ends up getting pregnant. And so she's like, how can I keep this a secret? There's a murder, a husband goes missing, there is a maid, and there's the wife. And so all their lives are kind of thrown together because of all these mistakes and things they went through. And it was really good. I kind of read it very sporadically, and I hate doing that, but that's how my reading's been going lately. But I still enjoyed it. If you guys read this book, please let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. Next, I have My Grandfather Would Have Shot Me by Jennifer Teague. I love this book. I love biographies, stories about war and history and the Holocaust. And this is a black woman who is related to Oma Gilead, that's how you say it, Goth, who is the commandant of Plaza concentration camp. And it really wrecked her world because she was like, how can I be related to someone so brutal and mean and sadistic? And it really broke her down, tore her down, but through time she's able to find forgiveness for herself and for people she's related to. This is a great haunting story. You guys should check it out. And also this gave us a 5 out of 5 stars on Goodreads. Next, I just finished yesterday. That was A Quiet Courage, Pierre Anger Wallenberg's collaborative of Hungary and Jews. So this is just a telling story of how he saved lives and how he's part of the righteous among the nations. This is a great short book. I enjoyed it. I have this book, I bought it from some friends several years ago, and I just read it, and I really enjoyed it. But I don't remember hearing a lot of Wallenberg. That name sounded familiar, but I didn't know it that great. So let me read you what it says. 1944. The Russians are advancing on Budapest. The Nazis, in a late desperate attempt to destroy Hungarian Jews, have sent Adolf Eichmann to round up as many Jews as possible for the gas chambers of Auschwitz. It is time of chaos and terror. 2 Swedish diplomats with their colleagues in the Swedish legation decide that they must act to save as many as possible. One of them, Raoul Wallenberg, has to vanish after the war into Soviet Russia. His story has also been told. The other, Pierre Anger, was to be his partner in the greatest rescue effort. This is Pierre's story. It once again proves the great truth that one man can make a difference. Pierre Anger's determination and heroism were to be repeated 12 years later in 1956 when he came to the aid of Hungarians fleeing another oppressive Soviet communism. Elizabeth Zunkler tells this beautiful story of courage and dedication with the emotional force it derives. She also brings to life the events that precede and follow the rescues in Budapest, including Anger's distinguished career in diplomatic service of his country. Her diligent research and first-hand cooperation of Ambassador Anger and many others give us a true story of precision and above all inspiration. Yes, books like these are so inspiring. And when I read a book, I want to be inspired to be a better person, to learn, and to not have history repeat itself. I hope you guys like this video. Please let me know what you think about it in the comments down below. And if you haven't, go subscribe to my channel. And I'll see you guys next time in another video. Goodbye.